Hello, I'm Richard Vobes and I'm the Bald Explorer out on another walk. And this time I'm in Shropshire. I'm at the wonderful and interesting town of Bridgnorth. And with me to help me explore the place is Harriet. Hello, Harriet.
Hello, Richard.
And little Lola.
A little Lola.
Hello, little Lola. she's very keen. So we're standing on the bridge of Bridgnorth, which, as you can see behind us, flowing there rather majestically, is the River Severn. And Bridgnorth is a town that was named after a bridge that was further back. In fact, there was a bridge at Quatford and a ford crossing, and then they built a bridge further north. So they called this place Bridgnorth. We're going to explore it. Bridgnorth is unusual, isn't it, Harriet, because it's divided into two.
Yes, there is the low town, which we're in at the moment, and then up on the hill is the high town, but it's quite distinctly different.
I wonder if two different types of people live on the high town. The high town seems to be a town that's a bit richer than the low town.
Yes, I think so. Some of the big houses around St Leonard's Church, some quite grand houses around there, which I don't know if you get in the low town.
So we'll start our stroll. So come on then, Harriet. And Lola. Lola, who is walking on the ground. Obviously. Sometimes one says things that is a bit stupid. Now, an interesting thing about Bridgnorth, we've been to Bridgnorth only a couple of times, really.
Yes.
Because it's quite a bit south from where you live in Shrewsbury.
Yes.
But it's an unusual town, not only because it's split in two, and we're leaving the lower town, which originally was called the basin of the town. We're leaving that behind. In order to go up, there is a quick way of going up, which is the funicular, but we're not going to do that, Harriet.
Oh, okay.
Because we are actually going to go up the old traditional route before there was a cliff railway, and that is up the Cartway.
Yes.
Which
is that where carts used to go?
I'm guessing that's probably where they used to go. And one of the first things that you see is this rather impressive timber frame building, which I'm guessing is one of the older ones, 1580. It says on it, and it looks like they're doing some renovation work
Lola.
up there at the moment. Lola's just seen a cat, and she is desperate to get there, aren't you, Lola?
No.
We won't let Lola get that. Sorry, I'm tripping over the blooming lead. Stop it, Lola. Come on, quiet. This is not your town. An interesting thing about the Bishop Percys house that we've just been looking at. Oh, there's a car coming here. It's a very narrow little cartway, as you can imagine. And the carts, of course, were the carts from the barges that came off at the wharf of the river edge.
Yes, of course.
Because it being on the River Severn, there was a little harbour and a wharf and all that for years. What I was going to say about the Percys house, that old building, is that it's one of the few that escaped the great fire of Bridgnorth in 1649. I think, and I may be wrong, but I think set alight by Cromwell's troops during the English Civil War.
Oh, right.
Anyways, the houses, as you can see here, are all very lovely and Georgian in style, and of course some of them may actually be older than that and have timber framing behind us. So much of Britain is been re-rendered, but remodelled, I suppose, is the thing. We're heading up the hill, quite a steep hill, isn't it, Harriet?
It is quite steep, yes.
Can my old legs get up here?
Yes.
I hope so. Now, we're walking up this steep old hill because not only did the carts come up here, and of course, people who were living here, this is the only way to get up to the town for a long time. Excuse that noise, but in front of me here, they're obviously doing some tree work, is what is an old cave dwelling here that was used. People lived behind this brick wall with caves until 1856. Thank you very much. It was a nice chap. And yes, it's hard to believe now, when we all live in very beautiful and modern houses with central heating, that people actually lived in caves as recent as 1856. It is quite amazing, because nobody lives there now, naturally. Well, one hopes not. Thank you very much, tree man, tree specialist. Switched off his engine just for us. So we're making our way back up the hill here, past Mole Cottage and others. There are other... Thank you for the wave. People are so welcoming. There are other cave dwellings, not now, but there were, around the base of this area, and I'm guessing that the red sandstone was quite easy to modify so that you could live in these things with the cavities. And in fact, during the English Civil War, I just remembered this fact, the castle on the top, which was being used by the, I think by the Royalists, was trying to be broken into by the Cromwellians, or the Roundheads, the Roundheads, and they dug a tunnel through the caves at the bottom to try and reach the top. I just remembered that little fact.
Oh, well done.
But the castle itself, of course, is I think around 1101, when Robert de Bellamy. Yeah, we'll go up to the High Town first, and we'll come back here.
Okay.
Robert de Bellamy, the son of Roger de Montgomery, who actually founded the town in 1101. My history is always a little bit vague.
It's very good, your knowledge of history.
Thank you. So we're coming up now into the main town area, the high town, the high street of the town. And one of the architecture is just fabulous. And if that's your bag, here is, I think, the old market hall.
Oh.
And this is typical grand Victoriana at its best. And you know, they've even left the bunting up, which is...
the bunting's always up.
The bunting is always up, there we go. A rather beautiful, somewhat weathered building now, and it's a museum and shop by the looks of things, but very delightful. I do like that. Now, in Shrewsbury, you had a building like this, didn't you, until the 60s? It was there for 100 years.
Which was that? The Market Hall?
The Market Hall.
Oh, it was the Market Hall. Ah.
And it was a beautiful building, similar to that.
And then they put something gopping up.
They knocked it down and they put something gopping up, which was more utilitarian in the 1960s, as they did all over the blooming place. Let's have a look up the High Street.
There's a little market going on in there, isn't
You've got the town clock going.
Yeah.
And you were just saying, sorry, I interrupted you because I wanted to get the sound of the town.
There's a mini market going on in there. Is that an old market hall then?
That's the old town hall.
Oh, town hall, I mean, sorry.
So that was built, I think, in the 17th century and then modified in the 19th century. So it would have originally have been a wooden structure and perhaps a little bit smaller than that. And then modified, as you can see, the bottom bit is open and made of brick now. It's brick piers and brick archways. Getting a thumbs up from the scaffolders. And underneath has always been a market, and traditionally you would have had your dairy products and cheeses, and that's dairy, of course, underneath the market hall.
Traffic.
Right, let's see if we can venture through the traffic. So you were saying that it's very much like a mini version of the
made locally market that we get in Shrewsbury twice a month.
So
I just tried some chili cheddar.
Oh wow!
You'd like it.
Oh, fantastic!
You'd really like it.
So I don't know whether they're open all the time or whether it's just on. This is a Friday. It's a Friday, so it's a Friday market. But maybe who knows? But a beautiful little market. Now, as we come out, we see in front of us the gate, the last of the 5 gates into Bridgnorth. So let's take a little journey towards that before we venture towards the funicular, which will hopefully be our highlight. So as we approach this rather grand looking entrance, and I'm just trying to get, that must be the north entrance then, the north gate, judging where the sun is. Maybe it's the east. I think it may be the east gate. Anyway, it's the only gate there is now. The others have since gone. And originally when the town was incorporated, it was protected by a wall, but a wooden wall, a timber wall, all the way around. And that was around in the 12th century. I'll let this big Friar's Pride lorry go past. I might get out of the way in case I get slightly squashed or totally squashed. And then later on in the 13th and 14th century, the wall was reinforced in stone. And while these old gates are desirable for visitors and they look beautiful and they're intriguing, it must be an absolute headache for modern drivers and things, because they're just very narrow, never designed for the sort of large amounts of transport that uses them these days.
It is Northgate, you were right, originally.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it says Northgate
Oh,
Museum.
yeah, there you go.
Well done.
Leaving the high street now, Harriet.
Yep.
Before we go towards the funicular, and of course the remains of the castle, I just want to grab a shot of that. We are heading up towards a rather beautiful church, and quite an old church, made out of red sandstone, as the abbey, I think, in Shrewsbury is, St Leonard's. And right on the very top, I hope you can see it, the British flag, or the English flag, I beg your pardon. And this is very much the Georgian quarter, isn't it, of Bridgnorth?
Yes, this is what I was referring to a bit earlier when you were talking about the difference between High Town and Low Town. And I was saying this is sort of like a crescent of houses when we get around the corner of quite big, lovely houses.
Yes, and beautifully maintained.
Yeah.
Harriet, behind us is the funicular, and I'm getting very excited because we're going to be riding on the funicular.
Yes.
£1.60 a return journey, which is rather handy.
Do they take dogs?
I think they do. Lola is
Sorry,
again
Lola.
causing us chaos and mayhem.
She wants to be a star of Dayton's Queen.
She does. So we're walking along this beautiful Ridgeway walk, I suppose. I don't know, what would you call it? It's got this rather amazing view down to the river and to Lowtown. And on our right, very shortly, we'll be seeing the castle. So as we head through towards the castle, behind us there you can just see, let me just come back a minute, you can just see this second church, St Mary's, this one, and this church was made in the 18th century, or built in the 18th century I should say, by the civic engineer Thomas Telford, who did a lot of work in Shropshire.
It's very unusual with those windows, isn't it?
It's a very unusual church, really.
Just have such plain windows and not stained glass.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Now, I wonder if we can get through this way down to the castle. This is the castle, and as you can see, there's not much left of it. It's just this sort of the tower, which is leaning at a very heavy angle, more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
I was going to say, give Pisa a run for its money.
It certainly does, and it was attempted to be blown up by the Cromwell's mob in the English Civil War, and this is all that they've left. There's not a huge amount to see, but there's another interesting thing, not about the castle particularly, but about Bridgnorth, and that is, in fairly recently found documents around 2000, after the Second World War, yeah. Operation Sea Lion was the Germans' plan to invade Britain in 1914. We had the Battle of Britain, and we had the Blitz, and they were trying to invade. If we just keep going, I want to put that in the background of us.
Okay.
And had there been an invasion, the papers reveal, they're not verified, but they reveal, so I'm just going to walk on the grass because I want to see behind us the castle. They reveal, get my facts out, I'm very excited, that Adolf Hitler, the Führer, had he invaded Britain, was very keen to make Bridgnorth the centre of his operations.
Really?
He was going to live yeah, he was going to have an HQ here in Britain.
Wow. How extraordinary.
Because it was in the Midlands, it was in the middle of Britain, and would have been a great place. And because of this high vantage point, it was an easy place to defend.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So there we are. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we leave the castle grounds. As I say, there's not that much to see, but it's very beautiful. And we're going to visit the funicular.
Because Jim came in, I said, what happened with the alarms last night? Jimmy said, I don't know, nothing as far as I know.
Yeah, no, I didn't ring him.
Hello.
Hello there.
Put up with going on.
Yeah.
Can we have a return? Two returns. Oh, lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And there, the carriage awaits by the looks of things.
Get the change.
Oh yes, don't forget the change.
Carriage awaits.
And here we are. We have the carriage to ourselves by the looks of things.
Yeah.
That is the view. It's rather nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
With seats. Oh,
There's
it
the
goes.
bell.
There's the bell. At any moment now, we'll be off. Oh, just waiting for the chap to cash up and operate the machinery. Let's have a little sit down. Thank you very much. Oh, the doors are shut. Where should I sit?
Should we go on that side?
No, I'll sit next to you here.
Okay.
And we can experience the leaving of the station.
Ooh,
Here we
what's
go.
occurring? Ooh, this is a first.
Yeah, lovely.
Where are you going, Dada? Where are you going?
Let's get a view out the back side.
You can have that coming up as well. Oh, there is just one car, isn't there?
There's one that went up, you missed it.
Oh, just I. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so there were two cars.
There's two cars, and here we are arriving at the station.
Tickets ready?
You've got the tickets, haven't you? Marvellous.
I'm waiting for it.
Bit of a jolt.
Are we getting off?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
We'll get off and then we'll come back on again. And we present that back to the return,
Yes,
do we?
we
Oh,
do,
wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, Harriet, we're off the train now.
Yep.
We've had our little tour of Bridgnorth,
Yep.
and we've enjoyed every moment of it, I hope.
Yeah, it's been brilliant, hasn't it, coming back here, especially as it's been so sunny.
It's sunny and
Ooh.
it's delightful. So, as we just leave, we're heading back towards the bridge. We've got the Cliff Railway sign behind us. And I just want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and tell us what you think of the video. That would be absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much, Harriet, for being in the video.
Thank you for having Lola and I.
And we'll see you on the next one.